Right, road traffic's going up, so it must be about 8 o'clock time, if not later. So you got the Kilton in there. I have been there a few times, mainly to see acts. Now and again they have some good acts on, tribute acts. So I've drunk in there a couple of times. It's a nice pub. Somebody doing an illegal U-turn, not going around the roundabout properly. Behind the pub, if I walk down a bit here, you may just be able to see on the corner there is another building. That's the North Notts Arena. It's home to sports and entertainment. I know they've got sort of badminton courts and some table tennis courts, I've heard, some pool tables. But also I know they've had events there like New Year's Eve parties and stuff like that. So they must have a bar in. What's interesting about this area is this somewhere around here is where the new workhouse was built. So, workhouses. Establishments for people that are down on the luck, especially families. They could go and get support and care there. Families were split up, so in one side of the ring you would probably have the men, on the other side you will have the women, and in another wing you'd probably have the children. You were expected to work, you weren't all free living, and the work could be quite back-breaking. Some places you would be breaking rocks all day, other places you would be undoing thick rope into the separate fibres. The women would be doing all the housework, cleaning, washing, cooking, etc. The meals were basic. They were probably never saw meat, but probably boiled potatoes, boiled cabbage, that type of thing. The only thing to say about the workhouses is that the children did get an education. Most were puritanical based, so it was a lot of Bible education, having to learn verses from the Bible. If you didn't learn verses, you'd get caned and stuff like that. But children did actually leave workhouses being able to read, write, and do arithmetic. So somewhere down here, they're not exactly sure was the old workhouse. Excuse me. So we walk back down. This is towards my house. I'll be glad when I get in so I can have a cup of tea. Lord knows how long it's going to take me to put these videos together. Be careful, be careful. Around Worksop you have these small industrial estates, different things, probably 4 or 5 units. It's good. Then you have sort of the more fancy, like the Product Precision Manufacturing. Now we come down to a very important place for me. Morrison's. where I do my majority of my big shop. Quite a relatively new store. I like Morrison's, it's brilliant, it's fantastic, and I love it. Can always find what I want in it. What's good about Morrison's is, if you know the layout of one store, the chances are you'll know the layout of every other store of equal size. This area used to be like a warehouse site. Sheds, that's storage sheds. I know they stored glass here, because one day walking down I heard a clank, clutter, clutter, smash, clatter, clunk, smash, clatter, clunk. When I looked, there was a guy on a forklift with his head in his hands, shaking his head, and all around him was nothing but bottles, smashed bottles and stuff like that. We were unloading a lorry. Obviously he turned too sharpish, knocked the pallets off the lorry. The pallets that were on the floor of bottles were smashed. Hopefully he didn't lose his job. Worksop did have a glass producer, so glass works, I mean, so they probably came from there to be stored. Right, this building opposite used to be called Steel and Garlands. Still manufactured, but not on this scale of something like they have in Sheffield. I think it was mainly for specialised steel work. But what I do remember is the stink from it. If you walk down here when they had the foundry area going and you breathe in at the wrong time, you could be tasting metal in your mouth for quite a few hours afterwards. People nearby didn't dare put washing out from Monday to Friday when the works was open, especially whitewashing. There'd be no chance that you put whitewashing out when these were running. And just trying to see what time it says on there, find out how long I've been walking around. Buses run regular up Worksop, around Kilton area. And it is, bloody hell, 10 past 8. I've been walking around for nearly 3 hours. This building we're coming up to is an old co-op. Now they've covered the sign up, but it used to say WCS on it. This building here. I think it's been extended and rechanged over the times, but it used to be an old co-op. It's quite significant for the area we're in. So let me explain the area. Up the hill there, past the railway bridge, that railway bridge goes to Lincoln to your right and to Sheffield to your left. Well, Worksop then Sheffield. It's Kilton Hill. Down this way is Higher Road. This road never used to exist. The bungalows across there, the houses across there never used to exist. This is all to do with the workhouses and the slums of the area. This area used to be called the Gardens. The simple idea was an entrepreneur, is that the word? Said let's build houses that are suitable for modern day living. So they built these houses, and the condition of having these houses, it was like a model village. Somebody there with a dig for a car. But with these houses, down there you got an allotment, and it was quite a large an allotment. Idea being, if you got one of these houses, you had to look after the allotment. Basically, Healthy food creates healthy mind, creates healthy body, creates healthy soul. Working the allotment, hard work creates a healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul. So people got the houses. Okay then, screw this. We're not going to do the allotments. We're not going to do them. The problem with that is, if you didn't do them, you run the risk of losing your house. And it was quite a success from what I can gather. See if we can cross over sometime. It was quite a success from what I can gather. For people then it started extending the allotments and actually started building like pig pens and stuff like that. Go on. Oh. Like pig pens and chicken coops and stuff like that in. Pig pens by pigs as a piglet. You raise them, you took them down to the local butcher who butchered it for you, and then you ended up with some meat, plus also you ended up with some cash. That court store, I think, is quite significant to the area, because when you were producing the veg, if you had any surplus, you could actually sell it through the shop. It was also integrated into one. So now we're coming up into the Kilton estate where I live. And we're going to turn down Kilton Crescent. That says if you carried on up here, you'd hit the Kilton Hospital. It used to be called the Kilton Infirmary, then it was renamed the Kilton, but everybody knew it as Kilton Hospital. So we're turning into Kilton Crescent here. Kilton is basically split into two distinct Kiltons. There's the old Kilton, the new Kilton. You can basically tell by the style of the houses. Old Kilton had these types of houses. When we get into New Kilton, you can see the new styles, more modern. Also, New Kilton has most of the streets are named after poets, writers. So you got like Burns, Shakespeare, Keats, Coleridge, Longfellow, Thackeray, and so on. I'm glad I'm splitting this into 5 lots. I don't think many people would watch for 3-4 hours. Sorry, somebody wanted to pull into the driveway. So like I says, this is Old Kilton. Old Kilton extends across the road, across the main road there. Says it looks like been a glorious day. I hope for heaven's sake that this is videoed properly. I would hate to have to redo all this again. It'd drive me bonkers. It's been quite enjoyable. I think most of the walks have been like half a mile. One's been nearly a mile, so I've probably done about 4 or 5 mile walk on this project. So we're coming into New Kilton now with Longfellow Drive. And if you look at the houses here compared to the houses we're looking at, you can see there's a total difference in the style of houses. See, this totally different style. That down there is like a community centre. Never really been in it. All time I've been in it is when voting's happened. Pity school kids are there because I don't particularly want us to be filming too much with school kids. Yeah, but got to talk about it. It's part of my own personal history. It says all the roads are sort of named after writers, so you got Dickens Road there. A bit further down you had Burns Road, so they're all named after writers around this area of Worksop. So you got to be careful because I don't particularly want to be filming kids or whatever, because you'll get some that think, obviously, oh, it's a predator. Right. Where to film, sort of point that way. I know where the statue is. Well, the metal, if it's still on the building, should be.
Morning, you alright?
Hang on. Just talking to a friend here, an old workmate. These are the schools I used to attend. St Augustine's Infants across there, St Augustine's Junior there. If I zoom in, there's a statue of St Augustine. Happy times here, brilliant times here. That building in front of us didn't exist. That's now like a preschool, that's like a nursery. Brilliant time there, really enjoyed it. Made a lot of friends. Also, with it only being sort of 5 minutes from my house, it was quite easy walking distance. But yeah, it was great. Learnt a lot. Fantastic teachers. If it had been earlier, I would have shown you the classroom that I threw up on Mrs. Swinton in. The headmaster of the junior school was an inspiration, a gentleman called Mr. Edwards. His brother was a gentleman called Percy Edwards, who used to do a lot of animal impersonations, and also he did do sort of stuff for animation films. We are coming into a small precinct area here that's changed a hell of a lot. That was built as part of the estate. Again, got to be careful with kids about. You don't want to be accused of being a pervert. It's just that I do YouTube, so I'm doing a walk around Worksop.
Alright,
So,
don't get me in because I don't
no, that's why I put it the way. But obviously,
shows right here to look at.
just let me pause this. Just talking to a couple of people there. So this used to be a nice, vibrant little precinct area. You had a post office there. This area used to be a co-op, and it closed down. Came a couple other stores, but didn't really pick up on the success. Then round the corner here, first off, you got houses above. It seemed very strange. Go round the corner here, and this used to be a butcher's. First little co-op butcher's, then it became an independent butcher's. closed down basically because of the lack of footfall, which is a shame because they had awards and stuff for the sausages and the tomato sausages. Oh, brilliant! This used to be like a haberdashery, selling wool, material, buttons, children's clothes. Must remember in the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s, a lot of people made kids' clothes, you know, knitted and stuff like that. So this is where they used to buy all this stuff. This shop here used to be a greengrocer. Sold a few tin stuff, but not much stuff. It was more fruit, veg and stuff like that. And this head one used to be a barbers and hairdressers. Inside it's like two. This side is like a small area that used to be the barbers, and this used to be the main hairdressers where women used to go and get the perms and stuff. So we're nearly actually home, and I'll be able to have a cup of tea because my throat is beginning to get very, 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 very grumpy. Need to show you this because basically pass. It appeared, first time I noticed it about 5-6 years ago, just appeared. This metal structure with like little faces in, faces on the bottom, bits of tile on. More faces on, but pass. Nothing to say, oh, hang on a minute, I didn't see that plaque there. I didn't see that plaque there. Local community, the design and portraits came from the local Sure Star citizen. Oh, I never saw that before. So it's just a sculpture by kids as part of the beautification project. Right, now we come up to what's the new co-op. In Kilton area there used to be two pubs, one at this end, one at the other end. Both closed down. The other end was called the Flamingo. It was a decent pub, great landlord, but when the landlord retired somebody took over it and basically became a drug haven. A lot of druggies, a lot of drug selling and stuff like that. Also it was not a very nice atmosphere to be in. The landlord and his missus used to fight regular. The other place was here and it was called the Lord Byron. This was my dad's local and my local when I started drinking. Let me steady this. So what you had, where the entrance there, it's roughly where the entrance was. On the left hand side used to be like the tap room, where people used to go carding and playing cards and dominoes. On the right hand side used to be like the best room, and across the back used to be like the main room that entertainment was. It worked well, it was well established. When the bloke who owned it decided to retire, it was took over by a pub. First off, the things that killed it was the no smoking, because we're in a mining town, a lot of people smoked, and people suddenly realised that they could be at home, smoke, get friends round, play cards, etc., and it could actually work out cheaper. But those who did still come still enjoyed that atmosphere, even though they meant going out for a smoke. But again, when it was took over, they knocked it all into one, and that spoilt it totally. Spoilt the atmosphere. Again, the person that did it, took over, did not understand the demographic of the area, what people wanted. This area is called Plantation Hill. I don't know a guy called Plantation. I don't know why it's called Plantation Hill. I Across there used to be the Happy Clappy Church. The Pentecostals, you know, give me joy in my heart, keep me burning, and all that. When it closed down, it became a youth club, even though you never saw anybody going. Then all of a sudden, these like porta cabins have appeared and been joined together. No information, just happened. So coming up, about time these trees were cut back by the council. In this area here used to be a playground. You had swings, slide around. I'm sure you had a rocking horse in there as well. Yeah, most kids on this estate used it. It was well and popular. Even in blazing sunshine, I remember going down the slides and coming off with like 3rd-degree burns because the metalwork was so hot. Again, a lot of developments like that there. Zoom in a bit. All these sort of things used to be garages that used to be owned by the council, and they rented them. Anyway, they closed a lot of them down because they were improving them, renovating them, and everybody laughed because they knew as soon as they were closed down that would be gone. Never opened. Anyway, they sold it to private ownership, which down here is quite alright because you can put driveways in. Where I live, we're actually about 5-6 feet off street level. No way you can put a driveway in. Some of the houses in the bottom end are like these Cornish houses. Don't know why, haven't got a clue, just seems very, very, very strange. This hill, when it snows, as you can see, it's quite steep incline. Cars can't get up it. Cars can't get up it, buses can't get up it, nobody can get up it. We've, was it 2 or 3 years ago when we had the bad snow? May even be 4 years ago now. I know we didn't see a bus up here for like 3 weeks because it just snowed and then it was just freezing all the time. As you can tell, I'm beginning to get a bit out of breath. Oh, that cup of tea is going to be lovely. So there's loads of bus stops. We do have quite a good bus service. It used to be a lot better because we had a circular route. One used to come past the welfare there, up round this way and partly way through the area, and then the other bus used to go the other way. Believe it or not, talk about the railway station, we haven't got a bus that goes to the railway station. We used to do, but not anymore. Then we're coming on to Coleridge Road here, which is my road, and I'm just going to walk down a bit for the last bit of personal history. Right. So, let's do this properly. This is Coleridge Road. Down at the bottom there, you see like a green area. And beyond that, trees. That at the moment is a golf course. Well, when I was younger, those used to actually be fields, like cornfields, wheat fields and stuff like that. There wasn't like a substantial hedge or fence to keep us out. We always respected it. We didn't go in when creating trouble when the fields were growing. But when the harvest is done and they got the bales done, yes, we used to go in. We used to build forts and stuff like that, build towers. Farmer used to come out and say, if one of them bloody falls on top of you, chuff and kill you, and I'm not going to be responsible, you little bastards, and etc, etc. There is a bridle way across it, it's a bit further up, bridle way across it, that you can actually go all the way down to them woods at the bottom. And I've actually done that. It's about a good hour's walk. I have took the dog down there. Browning close here, if you go top, I'm going to have to relocate so you can see. Film over the edge. Can I film over the edge here? Just let me film over there. Right. You can't really see because of the words. Down at the bottom there used to be, again, before this Larwood estate was built, was like fields, but it was animals, mainly cows. If the cows had been in there a long time, you could smell it. You knew about it, you could smell it. To give you some perspective where we started off from and where we're going. If you carry on up this road to the end, literally opposite is another road called Shepherd's Avenue. Go to the end of there, you look to your left, and that's where the Worksop College is, where we started. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to have a drink, cup of tea, put my feet up. It's been about 3 hours. Okie doke.